Hi, this is Mike Hendrickson at Strata Hadoop World in San Jose. I'm here with Chris Selland. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
So you're with HP.
I am.
What's HP up to these days?
Well, as you know, HP is a large organization.
Exactly.
We're in the process of separating the organization, and that's actually a big part of what we're doing in and around big data, because we're basically separating off what is essentially considered the consumer side of the business from the enterprise side of the business, and I'm very involved in the enterprise side of the business. I'm part of HP Software, and I run business development for our big data group.
So in the big data group, what are your, do you have divisions or pillars, or how do you guys slice up the data world?
Well, in our group, we've really got products. Vertica, which is the business that I came from that was acquired by HP in 2011. A platform called Idle, which was part of the autonomy business unit. We've basically pulled together a few different products. There's a number of other products and services and various types of solutions. And then also our relationship, we've got something called Haven, which is our big data platform, which essentially consists of these products, and also it's really our approach to Hadoop, which is very much a partnership approach. So we don't have our own Hadoop distribution, but those kind of relationships and the Haven platform and strategy live in our business unit as well.
Okay, and so if someone was to look at HP, you guys probably provide the whole stack for a data scientist? Is that fair to say, or?
We certainly provide, I would say we provide the whole platform. What we look to do, and this is really what my job is, this is one of my favorite events to come to, because we're really looking to have a vibrant ecosystem around the platform. So one of the things we differentiate on, and I guess why I sort of stepped back from the whole stack, is because unlike some of HP's traditional competitors that have 3 letters and such in their name, we actually don't force you into our stack. So we actually work with just about every BI, visualization, ETL, as I said, all of the major Hadoop distros, security providers. So we've got a very, very broad and wide ecosystem of technology partners, and then also solution providers. So we're really looking to put Haven inside basically every solution in this marketplace. So we're actually letting thousands of flowers bloom, so to speak. So we're very much about providing the platform and letting the ecosystem provide the stack. And most importantly, I mean, if you listen to really anything that's right from Meg Whitman down, HP is about being customer-centric. And we sort of know that to try to force customers into our stack, actually, a lot of the reason customers like working with us is because we don't do that. We basically try to support. So we provide the platform. We try to work with whatever stack that our customers want us to work with. So we've got a very, very big ecosystem.
So your customers,
yes.
Are there any industries or verticals that are more ready for data, or more ready to work with you on their data strategy?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have, to some degree, again, being a 300,000 person company like we are, we're in just about any industry you can think of.
Yeah.
But when we look at big data adoption, how you would define that certainly is different in different industries, but some of the industries that we've been very successful in, certainly, first of all, very web-native, web-centric business, next-generation businesses. You may have seen, Facebooks, the Twitters, the Zyngas of the world. These are big customers of ours. Certainly, these kind of next generation data-driven businesses. And by the way, a lot of household names that I'm not necessarily allowed to say, right?
Yeah,
but a lot of those next generation businesses are actually HP customers and HP big data customers, which people sometimes are surprised to hear, but because of sort of the strength of our platform. Having said that, when you get into more traditional businesses, telecommunications, or what we sometimes label more broadly communications, media, entertainment, those, where things like being able to deliver information to subscribers and deliver quality of service and analyze whether it's call detail records or network performance or or security. There's so many different application and solution types that we support in those industries. Health and life sciences has been a huge industry for us as well, particularly with so much going on around electronic medical records, and obviously the need to both roll out new types of services while at the same time maintaining cost control, and also be, obviously in life science particularly, very secure, very compliant with things like HIPAA. So these are the kinds of industries. I mean, financial services, we could run the gamut, retail. We're doing more and more energy and utilities as well. So there's different adoption, there's different levels of adoption, and I would say speed of adoption, and also type of adoption going on in these different industries. But that's probably some examples to answer your question.
So, and as you mentioned, HP is very large,
yes.
300,000 plus people. Are there any sectors around the world that aren't U.S. based that are also, you're seeing them move a little bit quicker towards data platforms?
Yes. We certainly, there's a lot of innovation going on in the Americas. And I'll probably somebody will get angry at me because I left them out, but a good example would be we're actually doing quite a bit in EMEA, quite a bit in kind of the Middle Eastern region. There's a lot of innovation going on in Israel, for instance. South Africa. I would say in financial services, Australia has always been a really leading market for that. Some of the Australian banks are actually far ahead of, maybe not so far anymore because there's been a lot of catching up going, and some of even the domestic banks in terms of rolling out new types of products and services and being innovative about how they use their data. There's a lot of innovation going on in Asia. There's a lot going on around Hadoop, for instance, certainly in China and other markets. So yeah, it's different in different segments of the world. But being part of a global organization, that's what's really fun about being kind of part of this huge organization, is we get exposure to all of it. And it makes us better as both a company and a technology platform.
Excellent. So if we were to sit down 12 months from now at Strata San Jose next year, 2016, what would you say? You mentioned you're having great conversations here with people here. How will your conversations change in a year? What will you be talking to people about next year at this time?
Well, there's conversations that I have here. A lot of my job is in around our partners and our ecosystem. I talked about that earlier, how we really try to support all of these different providers. And I think certainly with all the investment going into this space, there will be many new startups and a lot of the real early stage startups. Some of them will get acquired. I know you just had Voltage on, for instance. HP actually just acquired Voltage last week, announced the acquisition of Voltage. Okay. So I think you're going to see a fair amount of M&A. I think you're going to see some of the big get bigger. At the same time, you'll see new startups. I think there's certainly so much dynamism in that market. This is what makes it fun to be a part of it. I think from a customer perspective, there's a real and this is happening now, and it's already happening this year, a focus away from speeds and feeds and technology into business value. There's been so many, and I don't mean, I'm not talking about data science per se, but science projects going on around, testing out new open source technology, and that's all good. I mean, that's what leads to a lot of the ideas and innovation that happens. It's important foundational work. But at the same time, at some point, you've got to get a C-level executive other than the CIO kind of bought into what this can do for us, whether it's the CMO, the CFO, or the COO, all of the above. In other words, business value. What is this really doing to help us change the game in our industry, reinvent our business, become more data-driven, become that next generation company that if we don't become it, somebody's going to disrupt us. So I think what you're already seeing is a shift from talking about technology to talking about the business value that technology can deliver. And I think that's something that a year from now we'll see even much more so. So I think we'll see a lot more business people. I make this joke sometimes. I used to run marketing. I'm now business development. I used to joke, and I always said I could get away with this because I was sort of insulting myself. But if you say Hadoop to a CMO, they usually say God bless you, right? So I think most of them now know what Hadoop is. But again, it's not so much about Hadoop. It's about what could we do with Hadoop and with big data, more importantly, to really deliver more value to our customers and create more profitability and shareholder value for our organization.
The business impact.
Business impact,
yes. So we look forward to having that conversation next year.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Look forward
Chris.
to it. Thanks so much.